Okay, shapes and symmetry. We're going to learn identifying 2D shapes, identifying 3D shapes, match objects to shapes, count sides and corners. Let's begin.
Introduction. Hello children, you may have found that on folding or cutting some objects like blackboard, chalk, paper along a particular line, we get two identical halves. These objects are called symmetrical, and the line along which the object is folded is called the line of symmetry. Today let us learn more about symmetry. Objectives. At the end of this lesson you will be able to define symmetrical objects, define line of symmetry, find the number of lines of symmetry in different figures, explain the mirror line as the line of symmetry, recall the applications of symmetry in daily life. Children, look at the rug. When you fold it, the left and right halves match each other. Thus, the rug is said to be symmetrical. Look at this leaf. On folding the leaf, its two halves match each other, thus it is symmetrical. Look at the touch-me-not plant's leaves. When you touch, it is folded in halves. Can you see the two halves matching each other? This particular line created by folding of the leaves is called the line of symmetry. This bug also has a line of symmetry along which it folds into two identical halves. Take a piece of cloth, fold it into halves. Now cut two small circles from the middle of this piece. Now after unfolding you can see a symmetric pattern that has a line of symmetry along which it can be cut to two identical parts. Manu and Mrinal have one rectangular cake. Each of them want exact half of it. The cake can be divided in two ways to give equal halves. Do you want to know how? Let us find out. The cake can be divided along the horizontal line so that its two halves match each other. It can also be divided along the vertical line. So the cake has two lines of symmetry along which it can be divided to give two identical halves. Thus, we can say that a rectangle has two lines of symmetry. Archie has two lunch boxes. One has three lines of symmetry. She doesn't like this box and keeps it away. She picks up another one. Let us check out. Oh, this box has four lines of symmetry. Children, look at this beautiful star. You can see the star has 5 lines of symmetry. What about this pattern? How many lines of symmetry does it have? It has 6 lines of symmetry. Rectangles have 2 lines of symmetry, but a square has 4. A circle has infinite lines of symmetry. Students, you must have noticed that when you see yourself in front of a mirror, you and your image are identical. The image is the reflection of the object in the same line. Notice that there is no change in the lengths and angles. However, in the image, the left portion of the object becomes right, whereas the right part of the object turns left part in the image. Shyam, a milkman, wants to park his van at some point on street and distribute milk to houses A and B. Can you suggest him where should he park his van so that his walking distance from the street to the houses A and B will be least? Let us find out. We can use reflectional symmetry here. Let A be the image of A in the mirror line, which is the street here. Now join the points A and B. You can see that at point B, the mirror line and AB meet. Thus, point B is the ideal place for Shyam to park his van. Children, you will wonder that symmetry is part of our everyday life as it is applicable in art, architecture, textile technology, patterns in clothing, rangoli, etc. Many road signs you see are symmetric. Look at this leaf. It is symmetrical. Thus, even the nature has plenty of symmetrical things. Summary. Let us summarize what we have learned. The figures with evenly balanced proportions are called symmetrical. The line along which a figure can be folded so that the two halves match each other is called the line of symmetry. A symmetrical figure may have only one, two, or multiple lines of symmetry. The object and its mirror image are symmetrical with reference to the mirror line. Symmetry is found in plenty of everyday life objects as in art, architecture, textile technology, design creations, etc.
Okay, the next one's about symmetry. So this video teaches, this next one's about mostly shapes. So
When a child has learned some basic shape,
about circles, squares, triangles, and rectangles, and it's important to know each of them.
shapes, you can help deepen their understanding through sorting. You can give the child some shapes cut from paper, making sure there are a few of each shape. Then you can say something like, "Can you sort these shapes?" See if you can put all of the circles in one group, all the squares in another group, and all the triangles in another group. You can first show them how to do it for one of the shapes. Then they can try sorting the other shapes. Learning to sort by shape will help improve a child's logical thinking.
So what are 2D shapes? 2D shapes are flat. They can be drawn on paper. They do not stand up. They do not have thickness. So these are shapes like circles, squares, triangles, and rectangles. 2D shapes are flat. So if you just remember that, you'll most likely be able to distinguish a 2D shape from a 3D one. So we have a few examples here. This is a rectangle. This red one here is a rectangle. This here is a diamond. This is a circle. And this is a triangle down here. So this is a circle, as we saw in the last slide. A circle is round, it has 0 sides, it has 0 corners. And some real objects that are in circle shapes are coins, a plate, a clock. So if you want to check to make sure something is a circle, you can just check you just ask yourself if it has any corners, and if the answer is yes, then it's not a circle. But if there are corners in the shape, then you have if there aren't corners in the shape, if there aren't, then it is a circle. So that's an easy way to check if something is a circle or not. And here's a square. It has 4 equal sides, 4 corners. Some real objects are like a tile, a window, and a board square. So a square always has 4 equal sides. That's the main thing you might want to remember. So the next one is a rectangle. So this is similar to a square. It has 4 sides and 4 corners, but only the opposite sides are equal. So it's not all 4 sides aren't equal. Only the top and bottom are equal, and the right and left are equal. So real objects are like books, doors, phone screens, things like that. So this is a triangle, and a triangle, you just have to remember it has 3 sides. So if you count them, 1, 2, 3, 3 corners, 1, 2, 3. That's how you know you have a triangle. So some real objects are like a pizza slice or some roof shapes on like houses and stuff. So take a few seconds, shouldn't take too long, but identify the shape, and I'll move on. Yeah. So this is a square. I'll take a few seconds for this one as well. So this is a rectangle. So it has 3 sides and 3 corners, so it's a triangle. So we can see that the shape has no corners or sides, so this would be a circle. What are 3D shapes? So 3D shapes are solid. They are not flat. You can hold them. They take up space. So examples are like a cube, a sphere, or a cone. So just remember 3D equals solid. So a sphere looks like a ball. There's no edges and no corners. So examples are like a ball, an orange, or a globe of the earth. So the main check you can do for this is, can it roll? And if it's yes, then it could be sphere, as long as all of these conditions are true. Now a cube. It's similar to a square except it's 6-sided. So a cube has 6 square faces, has edges, has corners, and examples are a dice or a toy block. A basic rule is all faces are squares. So this is a cone. So a cone has a round base, one point at the top. So some examples are an ice cream cone or a party hat. So the main check is, does it have a point? And the cross section should give you a triangle. So now let's practice. Name the shape. So this is a cone. Name the shape. So this is a cube. It has 6 square-sided faces. So we would identify that as a cube. So there's no edges, no corners, and it looks like a ball, so it can roll. So we would call this a sphere. Okay. So match the object to the shape. So let's match the first one, a ball. So what shape does a ball represent? So a ball has no sides, no corners, and it can roll. So a ball and a sphere match together. The second one is dice. So if we think about it, a dice has 6 square sides and 6 So a square has 6 square-sided sides, square-faced sides, and it has corners and sides. So that would be the same as a cube. So a dice would be a cube shape. Okay, an ice cream cone. So it has one point and the cross section looks like a triangle. So if we think about that, if we have to choose between cone and rectangle, it would fit with cone. So an ice cream cone. Fits with cone. Now the last one is obviously just book and rectangle. So a book has two opposite equal sides and 4 corners and 4 sides, which is the same as a rectangle. So feel free to ask any questions. Okay, we can get started on the homework and then you guys can finish the rest for the next class, hopefully. So complete all parts. Write the correct shape name. So the first one. There are no corners, no sides, so we would call this a circle. Second one. Four sides, 4 corners, 4 equal lengths. We would call this a square. Third one. 3 sides, 3 corners. We would call this a triangle. This one. 4 corners, 4 sides, 2 opposite equal lengths. Call this a rectangle. So this has no corners, no sides, and can roll like a ball. So this would be a sphere. Last one. So it has 6 square face sides and has corners, and they're all everything is square face, so we'd call this a dice. But the shape would be a cube. Okay, word bank: circle, square, triangle, rectangle, sphere, and cube. Part B, 2D or 3D. So we write 2D or 3D. First one. So a circle is a flat 2D object, a shape. So we know that this is 2D since it's flat. However, a cube would be 3D. And the reason is because a cube isn't flat, it has height to it. So it's different from a normal 2D object since it's not on paper and you can physically hold it, push it, and yeah. And a rectangle, this one would be 2D because a rectangle would be flat. A sphere would be 3D because you can physically roll it around. A triangle would be 2D. And a cone would be 3D. So after this, we can end it. So match object to shape. So a ball would be a sphere, as we did earlier. A dice would be a cube. A book, 4 sides, 4 corners, 2 opposite equal sides, be a rectangle. And a party hat, 1 tip, and the cross section looks like a triangle, so this would be a cone. And this table can be homework. It's pretty quick. And yeah. If there's any questions, feel free. So in this lesson, we learned identifying 2D shapes, identifying 3D shapes, match objectives to shapes, count sides and corners. So that's it.